My
So
name is Marissa James. I am 26 years old.
nice to meet you, Marissa.
Hi. Um, Anything else you want to know
Where
about
are
me?
you from?
I am from Williams Lake, BC.
Yeah.
Was born and raised there. Came here about 9 years ago, on and off, I guess. Um,
How did you end up in Prince George?
Came here because my family moved here in the well at first it was with the fires, 2017.
Mm-hmm.
Um, then we moved back. My parents came here. All right, pretty sure they might have either came here or they stayed. And I ended up coming here in 2018 on the exact date of Thanksgiving on Sunday. So of 2018. So that's how I know how long I've been here. So at least I
Yeah.
can remember that. Other than that, I don't really remember a lot of things because drugs, time flies, shit like that.
Kind of took over your life from there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, not way before that, but yeah. Prince George kind of just swallows you whole, so it kind of went downhill from there, though.
So I've
Sure.
heard. Yeah. Yeah. It's just like a lot of the drugs are cheaper out here than you have all the services up here, right?
Yeah, it's kind of like being in Vancouver in a way,
Mm-hmm.
because there's a lot of people that come from down south,
Yeah.
right? If they come from down south, then they give it away for cheaper. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But there's a lot of people in this city that don't like that. I noticed, like they call it home team. It's not really much so with gangs in this city. It's more so what they call teams.
Okay.
I'm, I've noticed that when I came here and I found that out, and from going from my hometown to gangs, and like family members being oppositions to other family members that are in different gangs, and then now I come here and I'm like teams. I'm like what the fuck is this, right? But they don't like when people come from down south, and I'm like, if it comes from down south eventually anyway, why are people not so open to expanding to bigger? You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
That's kind of what I'm a little bit stuck on with that.
You're talking mostly just about like the dealing that
Yeah, like
happens here. It's
I don't
just
understand why people like kill people
organization.
over things when it's coming from down south in the first place.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't know. Just a personal opinion, I guess.
Mm. Marissa, what was your childhood like?
My childhood was nothing but tragedy, but at the same time, a lesson learned, I guess I could say. If you want me to get more into that, I can.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, whatever you're
Um,
comfortable sharing.
so when I was around 7 years old, a family, well, actually, I guess it start at 4 years old. I had to go to court at the age of 5 because I got sexually assaulted, and it was by a family friend. While my family went to a family reunion, um, one of the family uh, members, I guess which you'd think would strike as weird, just opted to babysit me and my sister.
Hmm.
I don't know. I don't see how my parents didn't see that as a red flag. That it's a family reunion. Not for kids. Whatever. Why would a family? Like if I was a parent, I would have definitely seen that as a red flag. That one of the family
Seems
people.
odd, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
they always say that the person who ends up becoming the rapist or rapes the younger person ends up being close to them in their family, right?
Hmm.
Which is very true. But yeah, no, he ended up. I remember he was playing the video games, and he kept on. I kept on poking at him, telling him to feed us because they were gone for like 2 days. My parents and stuff.
Hmm.
And I remember my little sister. She was like 2.5 years younger than I am, so like I was around 4 or 5 ish, right? And so she would have been around like just barely 3, maybe turned 3 by then.
Hmm.
And I remember she climbed. She moved the chair all the way to the fucking cupboard, and she climbed up on the counter. And she was eating peanut butter out of the jar. And I kept poking at him, telling him that we're hungry, and he was like, stop poking at me, or I'm gonna fucking do something about it, or whatever." It's kind of, I just remember little snippets of it, right?
Hmm.
And I kept on poking at him, and then he brought me to the back room or whatever, and fucking had me anally and you know vaginally and whatever way you wanted, and did
That's
that more
horrifying.
than a couple times. And when my parents finally got home, um, my mom walked in on it, and from what I remember, my mom will deny it to this day, that she walked out of the room, and then when I went to the bathroom and found where she was after that, she's like, "Should I give you a licking for having your underwear off?" Right? That's what I remember her saying, and I don't think I would have remembered that if it didn't happen. Like only remembering small things in my, you
It's
know,
just not a normal reaction from a parent. You'd
you'd think it would
expect.
be
Yeah.
more. Yeah, yeah. No, the rain sucks out here.
Just started pouring on us.
Here,
Good thing it's Monday and everything's closed.
oh
Prince
yeah,
George.
everybody hates
Yeah.
Mondays. Fuck. But yeah. So when I again, went to court for that, I ended up winning, obviously, but the guy ended up getting very minimal time, which was stupid. I think it had something to do with the fact that I was young, and they said that you know, young minds, they don't, they could be deceived easily, and it was something to do with that or whatever. Reason why he had minimal sentencing, and obviously he probably had a good lawyer. I don't know. I was really young, so.
Mm-hmm.
But when I turned 7 years old, my another family member, I'm not gonna disclose who, someone closer though, ended up selling my ass to his friends for crack hoots. Uh, I would go day in and day out, having to do jobs for these men that would come over, and
At 7 years old.
7 years old until I was 12.
That's fucked up. I'm so sorry you had to go through that.
You know what? It made me who I am
Thank you
today.
for sharing. No,
No, it made me who I am today. But I will tell you, I really wish I didn't go down the road that I did when I turned 13. Because when I turned 13, I thought about it as, screw that piece of shit. If he's going to make money off me, I'm going to make money off me, and I'm going to make real money. I was spiteful. I was young. I didn't have a fucking very developed brain, obviously, because I was still young.
mm-hmm.
Like, when you're young like that, you don't really think clearly, right?
Of course not. You're not developed yet.
Yeah,
Like
exactly.
in all ways.
I was thinking in a spiteful way of, fuck him, I'm going to rub it in his face and, make more money than he could ever make off me. And
Mm-hmm.
which I did, but it wasn't, if I could go back and, know what I know now and tell myself, everybody always tells himself that, and things like that, right? But I can't. So I got to live through the best of what goes through, right? Because now I've been an escort ever since then. Ever since I turned 13, I'm 26 years old. And I, uh, I just started recently dating somebody about maybe 3 months ago. And I quit. Um, but before that, um, I quit November 2024. That lasted until again mm, June. That lasted till June, and then I quit again. And
So how did you sustain yourself in between then?
um, just my welfare. I just stuck with it, and I had a dealer that was able to supply me until welfare day came up.
Yeah. Okay. Um. So what was your relationship like with your parents or your
It
caregivers at that
sucked
point?
a lot with my parents because my mom and dad were always arguing, and they were separated, right? Um, I went through a lot of ministry and stuff like that, and my dad ended up only winning because he had my grandmother take custody of us. Excuse me. I'm guessing that, from what I'm saying, obviously you could tell who the person was that, sold my ass, whatever. But I'm just not going to personally name it. The only reason why he was able to gain custody was because of my grandmother, and not because of anything else.
Mm-hmm.
And he just did whatever he did during the day.
So
Got
you didn't
drunk,
really
got
take
high.
care of you guys.
No, my grandmother did. And to this day, I thanked her until I disowned him. Like, or not to this day, sorry. Like I thanked her. Like when I was younger and stuff for that. But at the same time, wasn't very happy with her because she wasn't taking notice to what was going on, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like she was just like, okay, yeah, no, I got you the custody. Do with what you will, right? To my dad. So
Mm-hmm.
she didn't really care, right? She just, was doing it to be like, just a, I guess, legal caregiver,
Right.
right?
She just had to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know if he was paying her to do it or if, he was just doing it or she was just doing it because she actually believed that he so heartedly was actually a good person and deserved custody.
Yeah.
He didn't. The only reason why my mom lost is because she used to drink. She was a bad drunk. I have FASD. I got a couple other um, disorders, but not any other ones that you know are. I don't think FASD is the worst one out of all of them.
I'm not
Honestly,
familiar with that one.
fatal alcohol syndrome.
Okay. Yeah.
Fatal alcohol syndrome disorder is what they call it fully, but it's when your parents they drink or your mom when she drinks within their second
Gestation.
and or sorry first and second trimester.
Yeah.
Obviously, and if it's all through the first, second, and third, right? But
Mm-hmm.
the first and second is most important of where it'll show up, like in the test results or whatever, the
Yeah.
placenta. Yeah. My mom found out that she was pregnant with me at the after her 19th birthday, the day after. She found out she was 2.5 months pregnant.
Yeah.
So she kind of was a little bit too late, and yeah, but the doctors always told her that she could never have kids, so she ended up sobering up, and she had me. And after that, she continued on drinking after I was about maybe 4.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it really sucked because she would always have these boyfriends, new boyfriends coming over not all the time, but just once every fucking 6 months to be a new boyfriend or something, And she'd be like, "You can call him dad, right?" And then like she'd tell me and my sister, and then we were like, "No, right?" Because like every time we'd wake up, they'd be drinking or something. Like I remember one time it was really bad. We woke up and we were screaming up to our top of our lungs, and this guy, his name was Byron or whatever, he was like had my mom's leg like way up in the air, and he was like trying to break her leg. And I remember I tried to call 911, right? Because she said call 911, and we had it was I was so young then we still had corded phones, right?
Yeah.
I ran, I was like, "Hi, my mommy," and that's all I got to say. And he came up, hung up on the phone,
Mm-hmm.
ripped the phone cord out of the wall. I was trying to figure out how to put the phone cord back in the wall, and then the cop showed up, and she ended up getting arrested, and we were left there alone with him, and he ended up having his way with my sister and me, and fucking, I ended up fucking grabbing a kitchen knife, and I fucking stabbed him in the leg, and yeah, my mom didn't understand why there was a bunch of blood when she got home and shit. He was there. He wasn't there anymore when we got there. When she got there, because I let him have his way with me, but as soon as he touched my sister, I didn't let that happen. I wasn't gonna let that happen.
Mm-hmm.
He didn't get very far with doing that. I've always been a protector of my sisters. Well, that was until she passed, but yeah, um, that's kind of how my parents.
Damn, man. Thank you for sharing. I feel like sick a bit, hearing your story.
I honestly feel like it's more of a.
It's heavy.
It's hard to hear a lot of people say, but it is a lot easier to say when you say it a bunch of times. That's why I think that's what you're being able to talk about it,
Yeah.
because I've told it so many times, and
Mm-hmm.
lots of people called me liar and stuff, and called me on and saying that it's not true. And that's the worst thing that somebody can do, I think, is
Absolutely.
like say for example, like if you get raped and your parents don't believe you or something. Like that's the worst thing you could do is not believe your child or not believe somebody that's close to you that says that or confides in actually
It's
you know
almost more traumatic than the actual
yeah,
rape
exactly, right,
itself,
because it's like
man.
who do you go to,
Yeah.
especially if you don't trust very many people.
The only people you have are your parents when you're that
Exactly,
young,
yeah,
to
yeah.
protect you, to listen to you. And, you know. All right. When did you first start using drugs? How did that begin?
Okay, so weed, drugs, or
Yeah, absolutely. It
okay.
usually starts with that, right? I mean, it did for me, that's
People
for
say
sure.
it ain't a gateway drug. I don't necessarily believe that it is a gateway drug. I'm pretty sure.
And you're getting high, so
Yeah,
yeah,
right.
start somewhere.
I mean, you're escaping from somewhere, right?
I mean, you could argue that white glue
Right.
is a
Whatever
gateway
it
drug,
is.
right? Yeah. Whatever you were into,
um.
that started it all, and why and when.
Yeah. Um. Well, I started weed at the age of like. Actually, let's go back to like the age of 10 when I started smoking my mom's cigarette butts.
Mm-hmm.
um, ended up getting a couple roaches, I guess, in there,
Yeah.
and then didn't know, and it got me more fucked up.
Whoops.
So then I realized to get to know what those look like, the roaches between the weed, and I would always be like knocking on my mom and dad's door with my sister, and I'd be like, "Mom," and we'd open the door, and I'd be like, in their smoking room, and we'd be like, um, we're like trying to inhale the weed smoke.
Mm-hmm.
They're like, "What do you want?" It's kind of funny, but yeah, I remember actually just a couple of weeks ago, my mom and stepdad anyway, telling us how me and my sister used to do that.
Mm-hmm.
It's quite funny actually. I didn't even remember. I don't remember doing that until they told us that. Well, told me that anyway. She's not here no more. But yeah. Um, there's that, and then I started meth at the age of 13.
So it escalated like fairly quickly to
Oh yeah.
the
Oh
hard
yeah.
drugs. I mean,
Well, that's
that's
because
young. I mean,
at the age of 13, or actually, it might have been 14. Yeah, 14 is when I started the crack, actually. But 13, um, when I first turned 13, I was getting heavier and heavier into the weed. So the last 6 months of my, you know, being 13, I went to treatment. And everyone was there for like they're like, I'm here for heroin, I'm here for Molly, I'm here for this,
yeah,
that.
yeah,
And
yeah,
I'm like, I'm just here for weed.
yeah.
I was like the only one out. I came, I went in there and I did 4.5 months of sobriety. Um, the last month out of that, so it would have been 5.5 months at a mark that I got kicked out
Mm-hmm.
because I was sneaking out, tying my bed sheets together, sneaking out with the roommates that had just moved in because the way the treatment center worked was that there was like senior and to beginner. So like people who came in, like say for example, when I first went in, I was only there for like 2 days, right? The person that sat right next to me in the group, like during group and stuff, they had been there for example like maybe a month. The next one would had been there for like 3 months, and then 4 months,
Mm-hmm.
and then like it just that's how they it just transitions. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So like there was I remember my two roommates that I was friends with, right? They ended up being like they were like I think maybe just barely 15 minutes apart, and yeah, where was I at? Where was I at?
Uh,
I was saying
you're just escalating from like crack and meth and
oh yeah,
yeah.
okay, yeah. I was tying my bed sheets together, stuff like that, right? Um, and then all those people that were like I said how they were going through like
Treatment.
treatment, yeah, like
Yeah.
so like when one person graduated, that's when a new person came in
Mm-hmm.
and whatnot. Anyway, the two roommates that I had were like 2 weeks apart, I think, from graduating. Like they were at their third and a bit month, I guess, by the time I got in there.
Mm-hmm.
So by the time I got to my third month, they were already gone. New two roommates came in, and they had this like I had just gotten out of the fuck this place, I don't want to be here, like attitude, right? Because like that's how it always was for everybody who new came in, right?
Yeah.
But I had the support from the roommates that were already in there for past 5 6 months almost, right? Like or almost 6 months.
Mm-hmm.
So they had the attitude of stick it out, it's good, you'll be fine, right? You're good. But when the new roommates came in, they were in that attitude. I was just barely getting into 3 months in, so I was like, oh fuck this place too, right? Like
They're just easily influenced, I
yeah, it was
guess, right?
easier for
Yeah.
me to be like, fuck that, okay, let's go. Let's go fucking do some fucked up shit, I guess.
Yeah. I
Like,
definitely had that experience too of some of the newcomers that just didn't want to be there, and then some of
yeah.
the older, like the vets, I guess, that were there that were
We're like, it's
basically
okay.
becoming
Just
counselors to
yeah,
you.
just stick it through, kind of like a sponsor, right? Like,
Yeah, yeah.
but like a living sponsor, I guess.
Um,
But yeah, and then I started using after I got out of the treatment and stuff. When I got kicked out from doing that,
mhm.
I came back doing more drugs than I had even heard of. um, it was one day that I came back to the treatment center, and I was just coming off of acid.
Yeah.
I tried climbing up my fucking my bed sheets that I tied together, and this really tall guy that was like, dropped us off at home or whatever, the guy we got the drugs off of. I remember I was like trying really hard to climb the rope, and then I would just give out and I just start laughing so hard.
Mm-hmm.
I couldn't fucking help but laugh. He's like, "You gotta be serious." Yeah. Again, it was really funny. But after I got out of treatment, I had to go to court and everything to get sentenced because it was a court ordered thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
They said that because I did show initiative of almost 5 months of going there, right? And it was a 6 month treatment.
Mm-hmm.
I got off on, as long as I didn't do anything bad for 2 years, I wouldn't have a criminal record,
Okay.
youth wise anyway.
Yeah.
Then I started meth, like a year later, and I haven't gone back, or sorry, started crack like I said right after treatment, right?
Mm-hmm.
Started meth a year later. I have not quit meth since then, like
Like every day.
almost every day. Yeah,
Yeah.
it got me off of the crack. I can smoke crack now every once in a while, right, if it's offered, but I won't buy it to do it. You know.
How come?
Um, I feel like I don't need any more addictions. Like as is, I'm addicted to heroin right now as is, and I'm just recently getting into fucking becoming an alcoholic again.
Mm-hmm.
Those are two of the most expensive fucking habits, I think, honestly. So I mean, I don't need a third one added on.
How much do you spend a day on heroin?
um, Honestly, like if I could spend as much as I want, or how much do I spend
Just to not be sick, I guess.
to not be sick? I would have to spend at least maybe by the person I get off of, $100 a day.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well, you
yeah.
could use. How much could you use if you could?
I could use worth of at least fucking $500 to $600 worth a day of heroin if I wanted to,
That's expensive habit.
and that's with alcohol as well.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
And yeah, it's pretty dangerous to use alcohol, and because you're not supposed to do fentanyl, or I mean opiates with alcohol,
Okay.
right? It's very dangerous.
Just because it lowers your heart rate and your breathing and all that
Yeah,
stuff
yeah,
combined.
yeah,
Yeah. So that's
yeah.
your current DOC is
Heroin,
fentanyl,
yeah,
and
fentanyl.
you still use side? Is it just to counter effect?
I use it kind of just because I feel like side saved my life a couple times. Honestly, it's
It's
like
more for fun then.
no. I mean like I use it because to help me stay awake,
Yeah.
right?
Okay. Yeah.
Like if I like because I shoot it, right? So like I got my track
Okay.
marks and all that shit.
Yeah.
I can't tell you how many times I swear to God if I wouldn't have put side in my shot, I would have probably died because of how much side makes you like uppity, right?
Yeah.
Like and down just
Puts you
with
down.
the benzos that they've been putting in it lately. That's why I believe that it saved my life a couple times.
So you're doing speedballs then?
Yeah.
You're like both
Yeah,
together and injection.
exactly.
Yeah. You don't smoke it ever?
I smoke heroin. Yes, I do.
Mm-hmm.
But if I like to inject it more because then I can put side with it and stay awake.
Mm-hmm.
Right? If I don't like smoking the side very often because it just tastes disgusting and
Mm-hmm.
yeah, it's just gross.
Yeah. You ever tried to get clean?
Couple times it didn't really work out.
Yeah. Do you have like plans for the future for getting into treatment again, or
Um, I want to get clean one day, but um,
you're not ready?
just a lot of trauma 2 years ago happened, and it's been a lot harder to fucking deal with. Trying to even think about getting clean.
Do you want to share that, or
I was gonna wait for all your questions to see if maybe you might have something similar in the questions first before. I'll let
okay?
you.
I
I'll tell you if you don't.
well, it's further down the line here, but just to kind of keep it organized, I guess my series of questions stays like that. But
Yeah,
since you're already on the subject, I mean, one
I'll
of
let you
my
go
the
down
questions I usually ask is when it comes to living on the streets. Like if there's like experiences with trauma that from living on the streets, essentially experiences that
Loss.
you've had and loss or anything. But
My
I'm not too sure
sister.
if that's what you're starting to
My
share.
sister.
Yeah.
She's, like I said, she was 2.5 years younger than I was when I said it earlier. She was 21. It was New Year's Eve, 2022, turning into 2023. It was literally like 12:30, or sorry, 11:30 or something like that when I had, you know, discovered that she'd overdosed. Around 11 o'clock, my mom and my stepdad gave us a call. We were living at the park over there in the tents in the
Mhm.
winter, and they said that we'll be about, and it's Monday, they're closed.
They're closed?
Yeah.
Oh, darn. Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, we were living over at the park there, and it took the ambulance an hour to get there on a New Year's Eve. You think that in such a not big town they would have a lot more ambulance attendants, like there's overdoses every single day, right? Like, and a lot of them in Prince George. But yeah, no, they got a lot of people that are overdosing every day, and I just don't understand why they wouldn't have had more ambulance attendants working on a New Year's Eve. You
Hmm.
think that they should have at least put more time into that, or they were just on a
Do
lunch
you
break.
think there would have been a chance to save her life?
I would like to think and hope so. The thing is I'm gonna tell you something that I regret to this fucking day. I lied to her face that night. Um, her and I were selling together drugs. Um, she went out for a little bit. This is before we made the phone call to her parents for them to come over
Hmm.
and see us.
Have you ever overdosed?
Yes, like very many times.
What's that like?
Mm. It's like tunnel vision. You see tunnel vision and you hear echoes, like when people talk or when you talk, right? And then it's just black. You go out, and then you wake up with ambulance. It's crazy. Like, it's pretty crazy, actually.
I know you were talking about your sister there, but have you lost any other friends? Or,
Lots of friends,
yeah.
lots and lots of friends. Yes. Um. Yeah, lots. I don't ever think that You think that I would want to quit right away, especially after losing my sister.
Hmm.
For some reason, I feel like a piece of shit for not quitting, but it's a lot easier said than done. You know what I mean? Like, I don't understand why, like, lots of people continue to chase after the drug that, killed someone or whatever. They're like, oh, yeah, that drug's, what I mean? Like, that's the drug that killed someone. Let's go chase after that one. I don't see the reason why people do that. I don't do that because I don't want to die, right? Like, I'm not doing it to die. I'm doing it to numb out pain,
Hmm.
right? And yet it does bring pain doing it, but that doesn't mean that it's not, helping and cure some type of pain for a temporary solution. Next question.
Quite the ordeal, eh? Moving around so much.
Yeah,
Um, what's the hardest part of living on the streets?
the hardest part about living on the streets would be, I think, the way that people treat us, the ones who don't do drugs. Like, as in the way we get asked to move all the time. We're just doing an interview.
That's cool. I'm curious.
Yeah, no, that's okay. I don't mind if you watch. Um, yeah, no. The hardest part about living on the street for sure is that. But the easiest part, I know that wasn't the question, but living in the Prince George here, at least I learned how to fucking survive.
Right.
right? I mean, it teaches you a lot of things living here, in particular, in Prince George. But I mean, the hardest, it's got to be the way that people look at us, and the way that people talk to us. We just don't get treated fairly. Like we get treated like dirt, and cops will beat the shit out of you. I once watched a fucking 8 month pregnant woman get beat down by the cops for resisting arrest,
Mm-hmm.
which was bullshit. She ended up miscarrying, and that woman went missing like 2 months later. That was only 2 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
It's pretty sad.
Yeah, I'm gonna say this interview's it's been the poorest treatment that I've ever received. Trying to interview just the homeless
Right?
population, and we're not even doing anything wrong. You know, it's just
They
like
didn't even have any questions to ask what's going on,
just your
nothing.
presence was annoying them. You know, like
Yeah.
it's unreal that you treat people get treated like that. Other human beings. You know, where do you sleep at night?
Me personally, anywhere. But the shelters. Anywhere but the shelters.
How come?
I get stolen from less from the shelters than I do on the streets, which is pretty sad.
Mm-hmm.
If you think, because I mean, like, okay, I can't really go ahead and say I didn't say this because I mean it's gonna be on a documentary. But I mean, hey, you know what? Fuck it. The truth's out. Lots of people know. AWAC. It's a women's shelter. I had my puppy stolen when I came back from because I go to and from Williams Lake, where I'm from. I came here with my 3 month old, 4 month old puppy, and you know what? Somebody was trying to steal her at the time, and was saying, "I'm gonna slash your throat, and fucking steal your dog." I didn't care what happened to me. I was mouthing the words help to the AWAC worker who came over that morning. She was not just the AWAC worker, but she was an AWAC outreach worker. So she's one of the ones that helps people get housing, right?
Yeah.
And her doing that, being that type of, worker, you think, because you know what AWAC stands for? It stands for advocating for women in community, right? So that goes against completely every single fucking thing that she's supposed to be doing, especially being an outreach worker, for what she did. Because when that person was trying to steal my dog, right, and
Mm-hmm.
said that, and I mouthed the words help to her, she said she kicked her off the property, right, like an AWAC worker should. She said, "You gotta go. You can't be here, whatever." She's like, "Well, you gotta come off the property sometime." The girl yelled, right? And then I looked at her and I said, "I don't care what happens to me. My dog needs to be safe. I need your phone. Pass me your phone." She passed me her phone. I typed in my address. I said, "Can you please, after you get off your ship, bring my dog home?" I said, "I don't care if I leave this property and get killed. My dog needs to be brought home to where she belongs, where her sisters are, where her mom is. Her actual birth, obviously, the dog that gave birth to her, obviously, right? So obviously she could get shipped back to Williams Lake, where she belongs with her three sisters, right?" And you know what that AWAC worker did? She quit her job so she could keep my dog. Like, how does that standing for advocating for women in community at all? It just goes to show even the workers that are supposed to be helping us, like this shelter or any shelter. AWAC's a shelter, by the way, if you're not familiar with it, a women's one.
Yeah.
And yeah, she called the fucking head fucking like man like board of directors, like whatever, and everybody, and said, if it means me resigning, I will. I'm going to resign to keep the dog because she doesn't have proper housing. When I showed her a picture, I Google Maps my house, and I showed her, and she pinned it, and she said she'd bring her right to my house. 2 days later, because I thought she was safe, I went home to go grab my dog. She wasn't there. I called the cop. I didn't call the cops about it, but the fucking one of the AWAC workers, the outreach worker manager, like that worked with the girl who quit her job.
Mm-hmm.
I was in the same department. She ended up fucking calling the cops and then not following through 100% because she couldn't. It wasn't her dog, right? She couldn't say that she wanted to press charges. She was waiting to get a hold of me. I wasn't easy to get a hold of because I'm homeless and I'm between phones and whatever, right? By the time she got a hold of me, she tried to tell me I called the cops. They just need to. They, No, I don't have any hard. Sorry, thanks. Um, sorry, I normally do. That's probably why people ask
Sure.
me. But yeah. She ended up saying that no constable whatever Sandu or whatever, you got to get a hold of him or whatever and tell him you want to press charges. Like by the time I got a hold of him, he said that he went to his house the first time and it was very unkept. For a dog, I did see signs of like a dog being there, but I didn't see the dog, so I couldn't do anything. So I said I'd call the SPCA and told the SPCA. He said that he told the SPCA to tell or to give the dog to AWAC to give to me. That obviously didn't happen. And then we said that me and the AWAC worker said that was a lie, right? Like the dog had to have been there, right?
Mm-hmm.
Then they went out there a second time, and I guess the cop said that when he did go out there, they didn't look too happy to see the guy, right?
Mm-hmm.
Or the cop or whatever. And then fucking next thing you know, fucking they said that I gotta go to court and go to small claims court, get a pro bono lawyer to get my dog back, which I have the mom. I got the two sisters. I paid for all their shots. I got the documentation of paying for their fucking shots. What more proof do I need to get her back? You know what I mean? Don't you think that's fucking retarded?
Mm-hmm.
Wouldn't you? Like the way people treat people out here is stupid, and it just goes to show anybody can be bad, whether they work out in the spot to help people or not.
Yeah, there's just no compassion at all.
That was your question, right? Like the way people treat people
Yeah.
just goes to show really that anybody can be bad.
What do you want someone watching this, hearing about your story, to take away from it?
I want them to know that even though, like, okay, so I've always wanted my story to be told through music, right? It's me and my sister before she passed away.
Mm-hmm.
Um, she wanted to become famous and whatnot until drugs got in our life, right? But I feel like even though she's gone, um, and anybody else that's dealt with loss from siblings, it's hard. And I can tell you now that tell you or anybody that's watching, you're never gonna get over the pain of losing a sibling, over losing your parents or whatever. Losing a sibling is the hardest thing you can do.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think any parent should have to deal with that, feeling like, burying their kid. I want them to know that, don't give up on, like instead of giving up on your life because your sibling's gone or something. That's the main thing I want people to know. To not give up on that. And if you had dreams together with your sibling, follow out those dreams. Just because they're not there no more doesn't mean that you can't fucking follow out the dreams you had for you and that person, right? I mean, when I get sober, and I know I will get sober one day, because I'm not going to be like this forever. I won't. I completely. I guess how do I put that? What's that word? I refuse. Yeah, 100% refuse to end up going out unless I'm clean, right? Because I feel like everybody has life purpose to serve
We do, yeah.
before we can die. Because I've drank bleach, I've hung myself, I've done so many things to kill myself, and it's never worked. And I realized after a while, obviously, it's not my time.
Someone's watching over you.
And it's not my time. I haven't done what I'm supposed to do in this life
Mm-hmm.
that made it so I can go. I don't believe in God 100%, but I do believe in a higher power of some sort. That we all have a life purpose before we can die,
Mm-hmm.
before it's our time. I don't think people die suddenly. I think people die because they either like say for example, if you were to be believing God, for to your understanding anyway, right? Maybe God doesn't want to have, say for example, my sister. She passed away at the age of 21. Some people would say, too young. She died too young, and it wasn't right. Well, that is true. It wasn't right, but at the same time, that's just our understanding that obviously, we don't think that it was right. But maybe it's just because she didn't deserve to live out in this hell. Because I think we're already in hell,
Mm-hmm.
really. Like maybe God or whatever just felt like she didn't deserve to have to deal with that. She was too nice and kind of a soul, or she's already paid her dues. And a lot of pain. She lived in life.
Mhm.
Maybe. I don't know. I don't know a lot about the afterlife, obviously. Not very many people do. That's why people are scared of dying, because they don't know. They're scared of what they don't know. But I want people to always just know that they can change. They can do better. They can do whatever they want. I haven't lived the hardest life. I've lived a hard life, but just because I've lived, a hard life doesn't mean that I've lived the hardest. I want them to know that for sure. But there's always somebody out there that's lived harder. That doesn't mean that they can't get their lives better either, though. That's the main thing I want them to know.
Yeah, it's a good way to look at things.
And I wouldn't be who I am today if I didn't go through the shit that I went through.
Yeah.
And I'm not proud of who I am 100%, but I will be.
We're all in our personalities and our characters. The people we are is uh, is all determined by the life that you've lived, the little traumas, the big traumas, everything you've
Appreciate the
survived.
beauty and the struggle,
Yeah,
because that's what it's made. Or it's like, it's a quote from a song I know.
there's beauty in the struggle, ugliness in the success.
No,
J. Cole.
no, what's it called? Look at how those tables turned. She don't want me to wait, or she won't wait for me, but want me to wait for her. I can't do that, baby. I can't do that, baby. I gotta appreciate the beauty and the struggle because it made me something like that. I don't know.
I have one final question for you.
Yeah,
If you had three wishes, what would it be?
to never like to go back to when my sister was here and told me she did down.
Mhm.
That'd be the first one. The second one is to go about it differently and not try to blacklist her, because I know that's what made her closet use and overdose as many times as she did.
Mhm.
And the third one would be just to have that life, because a long time ago, me and her promised my nana that we would take care of her when she got older. She's getting older. She's a senior citizen now. I feel like I'm gonna do that alone. I have to do that alone now because she's not here. Because of my choices of doing drugs with her.
Yeah.
And my parents,
Morning.
I'm not gonna let them lose their last and only kid, right? My mom only had two. We're miracle babies, like I said earlier on in the video. Like, my mom wasn't supposed to have kids.
Mhm.
So the two kids that she did have, she doesn't have one. I refuse to let her live without me and burying me first. No parent, like I said, no parent should ever have to bury their kid.
Mhm.
I'm gonna make sure that I have to take care of her, and I just feel like I'm gonna be left alone and just not have anybody there. But I will do that just to make my mom happy. So the third wish, I don't know if I already said it. I think it would be to make sure that you know everybody's taken care of before I pass away. I don't want to be selfish in any wishes, ever. Even if I were to have a genie, I'd make sure that even if it like lots of people say they would wish for something different or something like this, and then they would wish for something different and be selfish. Me, I'm 100% selfless on that. I know 100% what I want, and I want my sister back. And that's all. And I just wanted her. No, and if I couldn't have that, I would wish for one last conversation to tell her that I love her and I'm sorry. 'Cause I regret a lot, and I have a lot of guilt for what I did to her.
Thank you so much for your time and sharing your story with us.
I'm
And
sorry I got
you,
carried away with a lot of the questions.
no, you did just fine. I appreciate it. You stay safe out here, okay?
Mm-hmm.